Selected flood-affected schools in KwaZulu-Natal are about to receive much-needed assistance from the South African National AIDS Council with the support of the Global Fund. Hundreds of students from primary and high schools in the eThekwini district are set to benefit. To give us a quick update on the distribution of the aid is Dr. Thembisile Xulu, the CEO of SANAC. Good evening and welcome, Dr. Xulu. How bad is the plight of learners in the province as we speak?
Thank you so much, Iman. First, let me greet you and greet your viewers and say the plight for the province as a whole is still so bad in that there are a number of people that still have not been accounted for, which means bodies have not been recovered. Learners have dropped out of schools. Learners have lost their parents, lost their friends, and it's such that it's affecting also their mental health. And also just access to prevention, care and treatment services. And with SANAC taking its role seriously as a coordinator and making sure that access to services is uninterrupted, this is how we then, under the leadership of the Department of Basic Education, Department of Social Development, as well as the SANAC Civil Society Forum, put this application together to the Global Fund.
We'll talk in a second about the materials themselves and what's the plan in terms of who the recipients are going to be. But what you touch on now, demands for us to reevaluate the psychosocial circumstances of these learners, these children that you mentioned. What support is there, and how has either the local municipality or even the society in KwaZulu-Natal responded to this particular need?
All right. So I think SANAC, as I mentioned, our role as a multi-sector coordinator means that we bring together all stakeholders to make sure that we articulate movement towards the achievement of one goal, which is one NSP. Essentially, mental health is such a serious issue in our country. And as I mentioned, not just for the learners, but also for adults. And the programs that we are putting together now are making sure, for instance, that when people get access to screening services for things like TB, for STIs, for HIV, they also get screening for mental health services. So this is not just for young people, but also for older people. But if you look at the newly launched youth strategy, which is called Zikhala Kanjani, there is a huge focus on mental health and services for mental health. And just not making sure, Iman, that our facilities are youth-friendly, but that they are youth-competent as well in terms of providing youth with appropriate mental health services, and that health workers themselves are well-trained, not only to assist with counseling, but also to treat where treatment is needed.
If I may, Dr. Xulu, what is the value, the rand value of this donation?
So this donation in particular, Iman, is about 5 million rands. And as I said, it's a culmination of an application that was put together based on partnership between basic education, social development, as well as SANAC Civil Society.
What materials are going to be distributed?
All right, so I'm just going to have to look through a list, but we've got a list of about 60 schools that are benefiting, and we've got materials essentially for young girls and for young boys, and essentially in summary, for the girls, they are going to be getting a pair of shoes, socks, tunics, skirts, blouse, jerseys, underwear. They're going to be getting vests, ties, tracksuits. And on top of that, depending on the eligibility, young girls will also then be getting menstrual cups. For boys, it's more or less the same, obviously, with long pants, shirts, jerseys, ties, vests, etc. But also the support will include sort of a basic package of stationery. So the backpack that they will receive will include things like pens, highlighters, erasers, sharpeners, pencils, 2 choir books, exam pads, as well as a water bottle. And I think the way that the decision has been made is we've looked at schools that have already received support and tried not to duplicate that, but identify schools that have not received any support at all so far.
And just a quick word, Dr. Xulu, before I let you go, how can more people get behind the initiative? You've already said it's an integrated effort involving local government ministries and this international funding instrument. If more people want to lend a hand, how can they do it through you?
All right. So I think we all know that we're coming out of multiple pandemics, from COVID to the looting that affected KZN and KwaZulu and Gauteng mainly. But also KZN and Eastern Cape were then hit by the floods. SANAC is a coordinating body. I think if you look at our website, we do have a donor coordination body or a mechanism. But on top of that, each SANAC has got each province does have a SANAC office. And this is where then people are allowed also to be able to, through ourselves, to provide support. The key thing I think that we want to achieve is to make sure that we bring children back to school, because schools have got a protective effect, particularly on young people. And as we know at the moment, young people, especially young girls, are most hit where HIV is concerned. So we want to keep them in school for that protective effect of them being in school.
Dr. Thembisile Xulu, the CEO of SANAC, thank you very much for the update and for talking to us tonight.